kind of just tell us about yourself. Like, where are you from?
You get into business. I worked at a high level in the corporate world, one of the biggest investment banks in the world, but I knew nothing about running a business
How did you guys go about pricing those type of facilities?
because I didn't ever manage a P&L. I just managed a bunch of salespeople and worked in a big organization, but I didn't manage daily cash flow. A lot of people that have a cleaning business, but they have no sales and marketing.
Welcome back to the Commercial Cleaning Roadshow. I'm Anton Bandio, COO at Elevate Clients Inc.
I'm Jeremy Dixon, founder of Elevate Clients Inc. On this show, we learn from commercial cleaning company owners who are actively building and running multi-million-dollar companies so that you can learn what works.
And if you run a cleaning company and want to consistently land more walkthroughs and contracts using cold email, cold calling, or SEO, head over to elevateclientsinc.com.
All right, so today we're talking with Todd Knight, owner of Blink Facility Solutions out of North and South Carolina. Todd's been in the trenches for a long time, and we've had a chance to work with him directly. And now he's coming onto the show to let us know all about his business. So, Todd, we thank you for coming on here.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so just to start off, kind of just tell us about yourself. Like, where are you from?
I grew up in the same town you live in, Chicago, Illinois, on the South Side in Beverly. Come from Irish immigrants. My grandma came to America in 1942. $8 in her pocket and a comb. I looked it up at Ellis Island. And then she had a sponsor in South Chicago where there was a big Irish community, and we grew a big family, Irish family from her coming over, and 21, 4 brothers and sisters, 21 first cousins, all Chicago. When I was a young teenager, I did move to South Florida because my mother worked in the restaurant business, and there was a new restaurant from an owner in Chicago that was opening up in Palm Beach. So part of my family moved to South Florida. So I did most of my high school years in South Florida. In South Florida, I went in the military after high school, and then got out of the military and messed around as a bartender for years at TGI Fridays, got in their general manager program. Really only had 3 jobs, TGI Fridays. Right after TGI Fridays, I worked for HSBC, doing mortgage-backed securities, another story around that, maybe a different podcast. And then I ended up working for Goldman Sachs in their secondary market. I was very fortunate to get those breaks, but I worked in those industries. And in 2008, when the market fell apart, I knew I wanted to be a business owner. I was kind of tired of working in the corporate life and the uncertainty of it. So I went to a franchise show and I started looking at franchise businesses. And I ultimately didn't do a franchise. Ultimately, I bought a franchise, a cleaning franchise. It didn't work out, and we rolled that franchise into a private non-franchise company, which is now Blink Facility Solutions.
Awesome. So that's how Blink got started.
Yeah, I bought a franchise out of a company out of St. Louis. I won't bring them up on the podcast, but we separated from them and we opened up Blink Facility Solution with my partner Jason Potts, who's out of Raleigh. So he runs the Raleigh office. He covers most of Eastern Carolina, the Raleigh metro area, Winston, Greensboro, and Southern Virginia. I cover Charlotte, Western Carolina, Asheville market, and I cover the whole state of South Carolina, which is all the way from Charlotte to Hilton Head on the coast, and the whole state down 85 into Anderson and Clemson.
Well, I know you guys couldn't have started all in all those places. So, like, where'd you guys initially start?
Yeah, he started in Raleigh and I started in Charlotte. And what we ended up leverage is we won a large RFP of a retail bank, and they had locations all over 2 states. So although that was a huge undertaking to go out of market and hire the right people and hire the right manager and all that. When we knew we weren't going to open an office in all those in Greenville, South Carolina, Charleston, Greensboro, but we needed cleaners, we needed operations managers. So we just kind of hired operations managers. Uh, we then hired cleaners to handle these sites. We won the RFP. I probably missed that part. And then once we were in all those cities, then it was easy to say yes to any operator who had multiple locations.
So how many locations was that at one time for that contract?
The first contract with the retail bank, I think, was it was about 55 locations. Now um, that was in 2011 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward now, we cleaned 315 of those locations in almost every city in North and South Carolina and Atlanta and North Georgia.
Wow. Wait, so how do you even go about getting a contract like that? How did the first one come about?
Uh, at that point, we had an internal marketing guy who kind of was dialing for dollars, and he came across a contact that told him about an RFP for this bank, and that there would be 6 or 7 people in the RFP, and we like to join. And we ended up winning the RFP. We had to go up to the corporate office in Raleigh and do a presentation, and we were awarded that contract, which was a 3-year contract. They just kept on renewing it. They just kept on adding spots.
Awesome. Was that your first time ever doing? I mean, what? Maybe yeah. Maybe it's not even remotely your first time. But was that one of your first times doing a big RFP and then having to do a presentation like
Yeah,
that?
I think it was in terms of something that large, because everything before then was, a one-off church, a one-off school, a one-off health facility where one site needed cleaning and we were just going to bid on one site. Normally, you weren't meeting the purchasing, you weren't meeting the full boardroom, you weren't doing a presentation. You were just creating a proposal and delivering the proposal and seeing if you were competitive. What was interesting is in that first RFP, what we did realize is one of the reasons we won it is probably because we underpriced it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So we had to live with the pains of that. But as we grew, we adjusted pricing. So now it's a very profitable relationship on both sides. And we do, by persevering through that contract and growing with that group, we do now all their special service work, all their stripping and wax, all their window work, all their carpet work, all their immediate water evac stuff, disaster recovery stuff. If they have a flood, we've outfitted ourselves, and so we're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars with them in just special services.
right.
But it's close to a $2 million a year contract now, just by
Yeah.
itself. Yeah. So they're our biggest customer, but they don't make up more than 20% of our total recurring revenue. Is Jeremy's like Joe Rogan and Anton's like Jamie?
Pretty much. That is
I'm
it.
like,
But I guess, yeah, Jeremy, just go ahead and shit.
Pull up that picture, Anton.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Joe Rogan is?
I know who Joe Rogan is, but I don't know who Jamie is.
That's his sidekick.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't. Oh,
gotta watch.
Anton, I meant just about like, I mean, just pricing that many and all that type of stuff. Figure something like that.
Cool. So yeah, I guess to touch a bit on that, how did you guys go about pricing those type of facilities and seeing as there were like different type of locations?
Yeah, it's a great question. Without giving away my pricing, I don't want my pricing model to be on YouTube, but I already disclosed I underpriced it, so maybe no one will follow me on this. But pricing is what I learned early in the industry is pricing is all you're trying to do is try to discover how long
Mm.
labor has to be in the building, and you usually do that by square footage. So if I have a square footage of a property, and in multiple RFPs, what we'll do is we won't visit all the properties. We'll use Google Earth, and they have a measurement tool, and we'll go
Mm.
through and we'll measure the square footage. Well, we kind of know the mixture between the flooring. So I need to know square footage and what flooring they have, because that'll determine speed of cleaning. And then what I do is I apply a rate of clean. Let's say we want to clean it really slow at 4,000 square feet an hour, and it's
Mm.
20,000 square feet. So four goes into 20. How many times? Five. Four goes into
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Yes.
So 4,000. If you clean it 4,000 square feet an hour, and you have a 20,000 square foot building, you know it's going to take 5 hours to clean the building. Now you're just taking that 5 hour number and applying labor, and then adding supplies, insurance, profitability.
Awesome. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
and sometimes you can mess that up because some cleans can be slower or faster than others. But if you know the square footage and the flooring, generally you can get a pretty good idea of how long it's going to take to clean, especially if it's a retail bank. A little harder with big hospitals and school systems or restaurants and bars, but with a retail bank, stays pretty clean. You kind of already have the idea of how long you can clean per how many square feet you can clean per hour.
Mm.
So you're trying to come up determine an hour because you're hiring employees to clean, and so you have to put a labor hour to it, and then you're just marking it up plus plus plus.
Mm. Mm. How about supplies? Do you just sell it straight, or is it all included in your
Well,
services?
cleaning supplies is included with Blink. That's part of our proposal,
Mm.
but paper supplies are normally a pass through. So something that we'll get for them, mark it up, um, and then sell it back to them if
Mm.
they want that. I can tell you generally, for any other cleaning companies out there listening to this, I don't know how they feel about this, but over the years, I felt like I don't really want to handle paper supplies. I
Mm.
want to be their cleaning company. I want to be really good at that. I don't want to be. The paper companies are separate companies. They have warehouses. They have huge distribution channels, and we can leverage those channels. But what I tell customers a lot is, if you buy supplies from me, you're just paying more because I want to be honest with them and I want to have an honest relationship and say, hey, we're going to mark your wholesale supplies up to a retail price so
Mm.
we can have our cover our costs. So I a lot of time try to talk clients out of us buying supplies. Sometimes they don't want to deal with it and they want you to do it and they don't care about paying a little extra. But
Mm.
as long as I disclose that up front.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Seeing as you have a lot of clients, how do you go about like bulk purchasing the supplies that we
Well,
need?
we have a relationship with a distributor that covers the Carolinas.
Mm.
I can probably say their name, FSI, and it, it's a web portal that all my employees have access to, all my
Mm.
operations people. So basically, the way it flows is cleaner reports to their reporting manager is the operation manager of what they might need in the site.
Mm.
The operation manager goes to the portal and orders it. The portal's set
Awesome.
up with only supplies we're ordering, and it's a fixed price that we negotiated with FSI. So they'll ship the next day via truck to that site. So in
Awesome.
the early days, I used Amazon,
Mm.
but the problem with Amazon is they do that surge pricing stuff. So COVID hits and toilet paper goes from $19 to $2,000. Because there's no toilet paper, so they start marking up
Mhm.
the price.
Mm.
So the fixed pricing is a better model for me because I don't want the pricing to be variable, especially if I'm buying it.
Yeah. Totally makes sense. Just to switch gears a bit and talk about like your specific business model. Are you just using in-house employees or just subbing
We use a
subbing?
combination of employees and subcontractors. So we'll use we prefer to use employees.
Mm.
But in some cases, you do have to use a subcontractor, especially if it's a skilled job like stripping and waxing or
Yep.
window washing. Window washing, believe it or not, if I ask you to wash your windows, As soon as the sun came in the next day, I'd see big smears because you washed them with a dirty rag. So washing windows is a skill set, and usually we want to use window companies. I have my own window washer on my team, but he can only travel so far across 3 states. So we'll sub out some window washing, we'll sub out some strip and waxing, and we'll even sub out some cleaning if it's a remote location and we have a good subcontractor.
Mm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but we're hesitant to do it. Clients don't love it. They want us to have employees.
Mm. How many in-house employees you have currently?
Between Raleigh and Charlotte, I think we have 120 employees.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you, I guess, how do you think about labor differently, or even hiring differently now than when you first started?
Well, it's definitely, you have to pay more because the cost of living has gone up tremendously. So,
Mm.
we pass those costs on to customers, obviously,
Hmm.
but you used to get away with, not get away, but the market rate for somebody might be $13 or $14. Now it's hard to pay somebody less than $20 an hour, and it should be that way because I mean you can't go anywhere without dropping $100 anymore.
Yep.
So you got to make it worthwhile. So many cases we've got guys making $25 an hour. So I think we've always paid high, and I think that's how we retain good people. We've always been ahead of the market in payments.
Hmm.
One thing I've said over and over again is if you pay people above the market and you pay them early and on time is that's the standard. Early is the standard. On time is the minimum. Anything beyond that is unacceptable. So you have to pay people early and on time. And when I say early, some people need to pay early. So you make that accommodation, right? So
Right.
we do advances. We do if a couple is going around and cleaning a couple of churches and 2 banks for me, and they need an advance, we give it to them
Hmm.
because they've been with us for years, and we know, yeah, and we make sure we assess their side of it all the time, make sure they're getting a fair amount. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people in my industry that play a game. I'm dealing with one now. I like to say their name, but I don't want to get in trouble. But they don't pay their subcontractors until they get paid by their customer. So I had this conversation with them. I said, how do you do? I mean, can you imagine opening up a restaurant and telling your people, hey, I'm not going to pay the waiters and waitresses until I have enough cash flow. Like
Hmm.
it's insane. But there's a lot of companies out there that we find that don't have the cash flow, I guess, to pay their people until they've gotten paid by customers, which
Yeah.
is really bad business model.
Yeah. I mean, I could even say some big franchises that we both know of. Or I mean, honestly, just I've heard even some horror stories right now of somebody going through owed like 80,000 from big franchise. So
Yeah, the franchise models will use all the excuses in the world, and that some not even some franchise models. Some bigger size companies will use this language embedded in a contract that says, "Hey, we can't pay you until the customer pays us."
hmm.
And you think you're getting paid net 45, and all of a sudden you've been paid in 3 months.
Hmm.
So that's probably something as a company as we've grown, because I think we're going to do 14 million this year combined between both offices, and I don't think we need to be. Sometimes we'll accept being a subcontractor for a company. Like a company will come to us because they know we have a presence in the market. They're like, "Hey, can you take 10?"
Hmm.
I'll just say the corporate name, Pepsi locations,
Hmm.
and they're all in these small towns, right? That nobody knows where they are. Well, we already have cleaners there. So they'll call us and can you be a subcontractor for us? Great. Let's look at the pricing. Let's look at the scope. Let's look at the contract. And then the pay issue comes in. They're like, hey, you haven't paid me in 90 days. Oh, yeah, you didn't see line 27B of the contract? I'm like, oh, no, I don't read contracts. But I will give the keys back to this account, though, because I'm not waiting for 90 days to get paid.
Yeah.
Shame on me for not reading that contract.
Actually, speaking of that, like I mean, a lot of company owners have that issue and just have issues in general with payment terms, payment methods, all that type of stuff. Like, what? I guess what's your take on that? Like,
Well, I just think if you've been in business for any period, listen, I know it happens. You get into business. I worked at a high level in the corporate world, for one of the biggest investment banks in the world, but I knew nothing about running a business, nothing,
Hmm.
because I didn't ever manage a P&L. I just managed a bunch of salespeople and worked in a big organization, but I didn't manage daily cash flow. I didn't
Hmm.
understand it. So that you have to get up to speed on that quickly and do some math. And if you're not pricing deals right and you're not demanding terms from customers, you better have an equity line. You better have some kind of tool to pay your people before you're getting paid. And you're going to have to do the math. I think a lot of guys price deals, give give the cleaner a percentage of the deal through labor, and then that number might be off, and then the payment terms are slow, and they don't have enough cash to pay their cleaners, and the next thing you know, that account's calling me, going, "Hey, we can't get cleaned on time. Can you take us on?"
Hmm.
So I think it's just a matter of business 101. I've really tried to over the years educate myself. I joined a group, I think I talked to you about it, entrepreneur organization, which has given me this unbelievable network of other business owners.
Hmm.
They put you, it's a chapter of, there's 250 business owners in Charlotte. In our Charlotte, there's chapters all over the world, in every country.
Wait, what's it called? Just
Called
to make sure somebody.
Entrepreneur Organization, EO.
Okay.
It was started 25 years ago. It's an unbelievable organization. It's not referral based. There's no selling in it. It's only experience sharing. So
Got
what
it.
what you do is there's 250 businesses in Charlotte. They'll put you in a forum, what they call a forum of, let's say, 9 business owners, male and female. My forum has to be 9 males. They all own different businesses. One guy is an attorney. One guy sells used furniture. One guy has a real estate firm. Every business is different. One guy is a concrete guy. I'm a commercial cleaner. And so we meet once a month for 4 hours, and it's very structured. No, and it's very structured about experience shares of what's going on in your business life and your personal life as an entrepreneur. And then you go on retreat once a year. But in the organization, there's all kinds of learning opportunities. So I got to go to Wharton for 2 weeks to do operation and financing. Well, I didn't go to finance school, even though I worked at a high level at Goldman. I didn't go to college. I went in the military. So EO gave me the opportunity to go to Wharton and listen to professors, world class professors, about how to run your P&L. And
Right.
so I really try to self educate myself. And I think that's been a big change in the growth of our business. Because I think what we do is, especially if you're a sales guy, just like, hey, more sales, more sales. Let's just get another contract and we'll outrun this thing. And then you kind of look up one day, you go, God, I'm growing like crazy, but I'm not making money.
Hmm.
I went from 4 to 10 million, but I'm still kind of barely getting by. I'm not making enough money. So
Hmm.
then you learn these terms like EBITDA and operating income and the importance of profitability and what margin is and what the direct labor is and where it should be for my industry. And, those, nobody tells you that when you start a business. You have to go figure it out. But I
Right.
used EO for that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good resource.
Yeah. And it gives you also this network of business owners. I can call anybody in EO right now about a problem I'm having. Hey, I'm
Hmm.
having a human resources problem. How would you handle this?
Right.
Yeah, it gives you all, or it does, and you could even there's in the network. We had a mastermind group of 7 janitorial companies. I think I told you that. I brought
Hmm.
your name up to that group before. So we stopped doing the call just because it got disorganized. But we used to have a call. Uh, they were from all over the country: Ohio,
Hmm.
Florida, Texas, California, and we'd get on a call once a month and just talk about our industry.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's important too. I'm going to lunch with a local commercial cleaning gal who started her business 3 years ago, who's doing great on social, and she's growing her
Hmm.
business. I want to meet her and see how I can help her, see if
Yeah.
what we can partner with. Versus, like, sometimes you get into business and people clam up. And they're
Hmm.
like, they feel like they're playing poker. They're like, I'm not going to show you how I'm pricing deals.
Yep.
I'll show you. You show me, and we'll some deals I'll win, and some deals won't be good for you. And you'll call me up and go, "Hey, I think you're more suited for this," and I might call you up and go, "I think you're more suited for this."
Mm.
Right.
That doesn't happen in a lot of industries. I don't think that happens in business enough. I don't think car
No.
dealerships call other car dealerships and go, "How are you pricing your Chevy Tahoe?"
Yeah.
You know, they
You
use
might send somebody over there though.
right.
Yes.
The, I call it the four wall theory. You know,
Mm.
you can only you can only control what's in your four walls, but sometimes you have to go outside of those four walls and find out what's happening in the market, not to make excuses for what's happening in your business, but to
Hmm.
get more information. And there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of ahas out there. You talk to somebody, and go, oh, that's a neat way to do that. Or
Right.
even how you clean a building. That's I never considered that.
Hmm.
Yes.
Or
Well,
yeah.
any like surprising things that you didn't even thought about before, running?
Yeah, I think that I did discover some software that I wasn't aware of that is
Mm.
pretty handy in the
Mhm.
marketplace that we can use. I think more than anything, it gives you more access because what we really need is more cleaners.
Mm.
You know,
Mhm.
winning accounts isn't the hard part. Finding great cleaners is probably the bigger challenge. It's not hard either, in my opinion. It's a lot of people look at me and go, "Oh, you must have a tough business." It's not. It's not that hard.
Mm.
There's a huge network of people that want part-time jobs at 20, $25 an hour. There
Mm.
just is. That's the state of our economy. I don't know what that is, but we have a lot of first gen immigrants that are hustlers, and
Mm.
they want to go out and take on a bunch of contracts. They're legal. They've been vetted, all that stuff. So if ICE is listening, don't come after me. Uh, uh, but we have a lot of first generation immigrants that are super, super hungry. But finding them and networking with them and their friends and going out and doing the work and making the phone calls and meeting with the other cleaning company because they have more resources than I do, and they might
Mhm.
want to. Their people want because some cleaners work for multiple companies.
Mm.
They'll
Mhm.
work for me for a couple schools 5 nights a week, and they'll work for another company, which is fine. We don't put anybody on a lockdown. I mean, a non-compete. We don't want to limit them on how they can earn.
Right.
Yes. How do you go about finding and training actually good cleaners?
We use the basic web-based stuff like Indeed.
Mm.
Um, my daughter, who lives in New York City, is our recruiter. So my ops team puts a request in for a position, a
Mm.
structured request of the position, the payables, the days it's clean. She posts an ad. She filters through all the ads. But we're in an economy now where if you post an ad, depending on the city, if it's a more rural city, you'll get you'll get 100 people hit an ad for a cleaning job quickly.
Mm.
You
Mhm.
know, and so now you're just trying to find the right person in that group. So we've trained Abigail to do that, and she'll find the person, run a background, send them a hiring package. Once they're clear, she'll send it back to the ops person. Says your person's clear. You can
Mm.
reach out and do the first clean with them.
Mhm.
Awesome.
But we're trying to find a lot of independent-minded people because here's the struggle with my industry is that we're doing close to 900 cleans a week just
Mm.
out of Charlotte. Okay, so if
Mhm.
you do 900 cleans a week, and you can't have 900 managers, you can't have 600 managers. You can have a half a dozen managers to make
Mm.
this thing work. So cleaners are supported by, hey, call us if you need us, and we'll occasionally check on your site and give you some feedback if we see something to partner with you. But our culture is based on supporting cleaners.
Mhm.
Because we want independent cleaners. We want to pay them good. We want to pay them early. If I ever find out that my cleaner is not getting a response from their operations manager or has a broken tool, vacuum, mop head, or whatever, and they're not getting it replaced, my ops people know right away. That's
Mm.
Mhm.
that's bad for them. So we want to make sure that we support people that are on their feet all night long, driving out of their home when we're starting to relax at the end of the day, and they're cleaning buildings. You
Mm.
know,
Right.
all my ops guys clean too. They fill in, so I like that because they know what it's like to clean. And this is a family-owned business. My son's been in it since he was 15. He's 29 now, and we've cleaned buildings for years in the beginning. I don't clean buildings as much anymore, but for years I went and cleaned buildings when cleaners couldn't show up. I think that's important. It gains respect with
Yeah.
the cleaner, and it makes you understand. Oh, cleaning's really hard.
Hmm.
I've cleaned one middle school, and I've been on my feet. I look at my watch, and I got 15,000 steps.
Yeah. Huh. Actually, with that, here I have a question about that, but actually, just give me 1 sec.
Yeah, go for it.
Turn this. Yeah, I just realized that sound was me the whole time. Okay, but yeah, so how far are you from the day to day, or like what do you
I am
personally?
the dated. I'm the general manager. So
Okay.
so I'm the everyday, and there may be a time. I In May of next year we'll celebrate 18 years in business.
Hmm.
So I'm the day to day until somebody can step in and take this job from me. Maybe someday that's my son. Maybe that's somebody else in the industry, or maybe it's through an exit in the future. Who knows?
Hmm.
Um, but the day to day is me. Wake up, respond to emails.
Hmm.
I still see my key clients.
Hmm.
My top three clients I'm very engaged with. I'm talking to on a weekly basis, checking in with them. How are we doing? How can I respond? I'm managing response times. Like if I see work, because we use a lot of client software for work
Hmm.
orders and stuff. So if I see a work order come over, I'm pushing people to go, "Hey, it's been an hour. How come we haven't responded to this yet?
Right.
What's the follow up on this?" So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of like the sideline coach. Here's the play. Go run the play. If I don't see you run the play correctly, you know, I turn into that coach that just got fired from LSU, that, that left Notre Dame that we hated, and I start screaming. No, I don't. I'm just pushing people and holding them accountable to to do two things. Number one, our culture is support cleaners. Are you supporting cleaners? And
Hmm.
number two, are you responding to the clients quickly? Because what I think in this industry is cleaning is never going to be perfect because you're going to have different opinions on cleaning, especially based on the site. If you have a site that has a lot of different voices about cleaning, one person thinks the cleaning is fine. You can go two cubes down and somebody's like, "This place is filthy." So
Yep.
cleaning can be very speculative, but what's not speculative is response time. And
Hmm.
if somebody makes a complaint, how quickly are we answering their call? Number one, that's the first goal. We answer every call. If we're not answering their call, are we getting back to them immediately? If we're not getting back to them immediately, why? We should be. But once we get back to them, how are we following up with them? Are we, oh yeah, we'll handle that tonight. Plus, we're going to give you some pictures of how we cured the issue. And I'll tell you that I'm in an industry where I think part of the reason I've grown it and been, as successful as we've been is there's so many companies that just don't know how to follow up. They don't know the importance of taking the call. Like we made contact because I answered your call, right?
Yep. I called you. Yep.
I answered it, and I
Yep.
answer every call.
Hmm.
Now that can be painful because I get a lot of telemarketing calls.
Yeah.
So I'm always very patient with them, but if I don't need the service, I'll politely go, "I'm not interested in that service." I probably get 10, "Do you need new financing?" calls a week.
Oh, I bet I get a bunch of those calls myself.
I'm like, "No, I don't." And please try to take me off your robo phone. But I answer every call because that's how I've always done business. And I
Hmm.
push my ops guys that, and my top clients would tell you uh, this. They're like, you can't beat what they do because they respond so fast. I think response builds trust. It
Hmm.
shows you're competent if you respond quickly. if you don't clean well and you don't respond,
Mm.
it's the guess is you suck.
Yeah.
If you don't clean well and you respond, it's like, okay, they're competent.
Mm.
Hmm.
We don't need to,
Fixable at least.
yeah, we don't need to give new keys. We don't need to give keys to a new company we don't know
Hmm.
because they're following up. It's never perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. On top of like obviously the communication, what would you say are the like your key things to retain clients?
Great question. It would be response time, number
Mm.
one, and it would be understanding that we have to have touch points with them.
Mm.
We have to be seen in their sight. We have to look at them in the eye and go, "I'm here. How's everything going?"
Mm.
What we find is most people don't want, which I love this about this business. People don't want to talk about the cleaning. They're like, "We're fine. Leave us alone." We love that. We're still going to come by next week, and say hello again. But
Mm.
and sometimes that leads to feedback. But I think showing up in client accounts and responding when there's an issue
Mm.
are the two ways to retain. I think what people generally want is competence, and we talked earlier about different cleaning business cleaning models, and these franchise models where a franchisee gets the account. He's never seen the account. He's never priced the account. Now he's responsible for cleaning the account, but he has no say in the account. And he's the one talking to the client. It's a
Mm.
weird. I always tell people, I'm like, look, you're not going to have to manage my cleaner. I'll manage my cleaner. My
Hmm.
team will manage my cleaner. Will be the point of contact. Because I think what happens in this industry is we win contracts, we drop off cleaners and go, hey, this is Bob, he's your cleaner. Good luck with him.
Hmm.
And that to me, that Bob gets enmeshed with them and he feels like he's an employee and
Mm.
he's pissed because the way he's being talked to and he doesn't have the skills maybe to solve the problem. And then the other part of that is what I can tell you how many times when we're starting to clean and it's probably well thought out by them. It's not for the wrong reasons, but the client will go, "Hey, can I get Bob's number?" No, no, you can't.
Mm.
You can have
Hmm.
my ops manager's number because
Mm.
Right.
if you're only talking to Bob, then I don't know that Bob's not doing a good job,
Hmm.
Mm.
or I don't know if he's doing a good job.
Hmm.
No, I need to know. So I think that to answer your question, long-winded. That's making sure that they know that they have another resource. That the resource isn't the cleaner. This resource is the management team, and they
Yeah.
feel that competence. They feel like, oh, there's somebody I could call. By the way, will answer the phone or get back to me immediately. I hear
Hmm.
it. I hear it so many times. The compliment of, man, you're so great at answering and getting back to us.
Hmm.
Even though I missed the last two podcasts, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's all good then. Okay, cool. So I guess yeah, to talk about marketing and growth. I guess for you I know you've done a bunch of different things over your years, but yeah, like what's been some of the best ways you've found out to grow your company?
Uh, yeah, we've tried so many different things. We've tried internal marketing with the person in the office who's just kind of using Salesforce data to what I call harass people. But um, that can be, I mean, that's a numbers game, right? If you make 100 calls, you might get a couple leads. Maybe you can close one of them. But then we use a lot of outside firms. We've talked about this before. The outside firms, to me, is ineffective because the commissions aren't lined up correctly or the payments aren't lined up. You're not. You're. I don't need to pay for a lead. I need to pay for a closing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we talked about that. Your company is the best I've seen at getting qualified leads. So if I can get a qualified lead, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to a site. Oh, you asked my one of my roles. I'm the general manager, but I am still the sales guy too. After
Mm-hmm.
18 years, I'm the first point. I want to see the site and see how it's priced because I don't want to give it to an ops team that if it wasn't priced right, because now I got cleaners I'm saying it's 3 hours and it's actually taken 5 because I had some sales guy underpricing it to try to get a commission. So I'm the sales guy. So how we're growing today is really organic. I think because of some of the big clients in our name, I think that we get a lot more inbound calls versus outbound. And it's a lot of customer growth. Like, oh, this customer just bought another bank and they've now got 62 sites. And hey, this guy that left this bank went to work with this other group. He hates his cleaning company in his 80 locations.
Mm.
So he wants to bring on Blink too. So we've grown tremendously that way. Now
Yeah.
in the down periods we've used Elevate, which has been fruitful for us. It's been, it's led us to some what we thought were small leads turned into pretty large leads that grew internally for us. Like I told you, one salon was a very small deal. That's now 9 salons,
Right.
right? Because we have proof of concept with this one owner who's a franchise. We're like, you've got to call these guys. She calls every other franchise owner and says they're in every city in North, South, and Georgia, and we have 100 franchises in those areas. I think I've really benefited from. I saw some data last night that the South is dominating economically right now. Like all the major cities in the South have more economic growth comparatively to like the rest of the country in many aspects. Like I've seen situations where the South's going to get more Congress people, they're going to get more because all the population is moving to Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia.
Yeah.
So I think I benefited from what's happening in the change of how people are moving around the country. A lot of people leave. There's maybe a little bit of a migration from the big urban cities, and I think the South is benefiting from that. So there's a lot of new business coming into the South.
Huh. Okay.
Make this a Civil War thing. I know you're in the North, but
Yeah. I was gonna say something actually. You mentioned small leads turning to big leads. Yeah, I wanted to say something about that. Actually, Anton, you say something about that, or ask, because we've been talking about that too. How like other people, just in general, like they don't follow up with a small lead because they're like, oh, small lead might not, but you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, Anton, think of something to say. We'll stitch this all together.
Everything.
just ask. I would ask, do you have a minimum? Because the industry understands that. When you go call on a customer, do you have a minimum?
Well, actually, what I'm trying to say more is, and I'll just take it, Anton. So Todd, you mentioned the salon that it started off as just like this one small deal that turned into multiple locations. I mean, one thing that we found is that a lot of people, is just a lot of commercial cleaning owners, they look at these small deals and, like you said, they might not even answer the phone, or they might see a lead that seems small, they might not pursue it. Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think activity breeds results. I think everything is worth a phone call. Now, if you're calling a client and it's a 1,000 square foot office space that wants cleaned twice a month, maybe I'm not interested in going across town to see their site or putting a cleaner in their site. But
Right.
if you're asking the right questions, is this a franchise group? Is there an opportunity to take on more? Is this So we have like minimums on square footage and frequency of cleans. Like we'll never accept a job that's not cleaned a minimum of 1 time a week. And the reason for that is if I'm not cleaning 1 time a week and you have a bathroom and people are using the bathroom, the place is always going to look dirty. And whose fault is that going to be? It's going to be you're going to hate the cleaning company. I promise you, you're going to hate us in 3 months. You're like, you guys suck too. Well, yeah, because we're only cleaning twice a month. Like you can't clean your house twice a month. Maybe you can, but I can't. The house has to be cleaned once a week or a couple times a week, especially if you have a big family and the bathrooms are being used. There's the same with an office space. So kind of vetting that out with customers. If they're budget restrictive on how many times you can clean or what the minimum is, maybe that's something you can validate over the phone. But I think if you're not making the call to the customer, and the example of my salon, that's a very small deal, but now it's a big deal because we clean 9 of them. So, and we're doing all their specialty work and all that. And maybe those are some other questions too. Do you have any other, I mean, outside of cleaning, who does your windows and carpet and tile? Who does,
Right.
you know, who does this and this? So are there opportunities for me for this to make sense for us?
Mhm.
But some are not worthy of going to, and you can tell by the phone conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I always ask, when's the last time you changed cleaners? Oh, we change cleaners every year. Not my
that's
favorite,
not a great
not my
sign.
favorite client, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not interested in cleaning your small space for the next 12 months, and you get new pricing, and because you save $20.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our second biggest customer. I've been in business 18 years next May. Our second biggest customer by volume, 16 sites for 17 years. We cleaned 16 branches of this business for 17 years.
Mm.
So that's who I want, right? I want people that stay with us. When they open up another location, they go, oh, no brainer. We already got blank. They're not, oh, we got a new location. We better contact 4 companies and see who
Mm-hmm.
has the lowest price.
Right. Because they know. Yeah, they know. They know at this point.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because
Make it
what,
easy for them.
yeah, what verticals or like niches would you say are the like your favorite or like the most profitable to work
What verticals outside of recurring cleaning?
with? Yep.
Uh,
No, no, no. Inside of recurring cleaning, like what kind of what kind of clients?
oh, yeah. Um, my favorite client is a client that has somebody responsible for the facilities. My least favorite client is the client that Sandy at the front desk is responsible for facilities. Sandy doesn't have
Okay.
any training on facilities,
Mm.
right? So you can sniff that out right away. She's now in charge of hiring the cleaning company. Who does the maintenance in your building when something breaks? Oh, the landlord does. Okay. Okay, but you're in charge of who does the landscaping? Well, we have to hire. So the girl at the front desk, the admin, is responsible for all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's never is a big word. That's going to be challenging sometimes. I like it when I can get into a facility where there's a person responsible for the facility and we can partner with that person. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that they value cleaning and they're also going to protect me
Mm-hmm.
when 20 people are going, this place is dirty, or we saw a cup in the garbage can at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I don't think they cleaned last night. The facilities guy can go, hey, that's at 3 o'clock. They cleaned last night. That cup could have been there today. Like versus me responding to that call. Sometimes there's no facility guy. I'm getting a work order from that person going, I don't think you cleaned last night. There's a cup in my garbage can. It wasn't there yesterday.
Mm.
Maybe somebody
Right.
threw it in there. So when you have management on your team, outside, if you're talking about industry, um, I've done well with churches. I think that they're have high integrity and they want to treat people nice. And this is the South, so churches have been great partners for me.
Mm.
The retail banks have been great partners for me because I don't think they're dirty. They're not highly trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of people using the bathrooms. Um, I think the right schools that have day porters are good. If they're not willing to commit to having a full-time cleaner during the day and us cleaning at nighttime, it's a no, because what we walk into at 5 o'clock at night in a middle school that hasn't had somebody cleaning up spitballs all day is a night where now my team's there instead of 9 hours, they're there for 12 hours because they're cleaning off spit. So I need a presence in that school. So yes, medical. I'd say religious, healthcare, retail banking are
Mm-hmm.
real good verticals for me, or real good clients for me. But I wouldn't leave it at that. Any client who really wants to partner with me and communicate with us and sees the value of having a management team, um, versus not the lowest price. I hate to
Hmm.
say we're not the low price leader, but we're not the low price. I don't want to be the low price leader. Sometimes I make the mistake and price it wrong and become a low price leader. But I don't.
Hmm.
If you're looking for the best price, maybe I'm not your guy.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you're switching cleaners a lot, that's also a tell for me. That means
Mm.
like, okay, you have an inside. Every cleaner can't be bad. You
Mm.
must
Right.
you must be really really bad. It's like the guy who's been married 5 times. It's like, hey, you're picking these girls, right?
It's not. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Cool. And yeah, Anton, you can pretty much wrap it.
Awesome. Yeah, before we wrap this up, would you have any advices or like wise words for people getting into the commercial cleaning space?
Um, yeah, I would say make sure you're capitalized. Make sure you have enough funds to 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 take the ride up for the
Mm.
first couple years. Do that math. I would say do a lot of networking with not just businesses but other cleaning companies to
Mm.
find out their experience shares. And I would say, stay super active. Like, because I think that, we see a lot of people that say, I have a cleaning business. I just got in a corporation. I'm like, well, what are you doing now? Well, I'm hoping to get some contracts. I'm like, what's that look like?
Right.
So we
Mm.
have a lot of people that have a cleaning business, but they have no sales and marketing uh, plan. There's no business. There's no business plan at all. But there's definitely no idea of how they're going to get contracts.
Mm.
They just
Right.
wanted to start a company. That's why I think the franchise model is gets so much life when it shouldn't. Is because
Hmm.
people are promised sales and marketing. Well, you're not really getting sales and marketing. You're going to get pulled out of that account if they don't like you. And after you've paid for you're paying to clean accounts is all you're doing there.
Okay.
You're buying accounts. Instead of buying accounts, just go spend instead of giving a franchise with 10 grand, go put a marketing plan together for 10 grand.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, we're working with about I think almost all the top franchises now, at least a couple of their franchisees. So yeah, they need help. They need.
Yeah.
They, they're not
They're,
getting
they're a mess. There's something about that business when you give when a franchisee is given a pitch that they're going to be independent business owners, once they give that cash to you, it becomes a really strange relationship for the franchisee and the franchisor.
it. Hmm.
And usually immediately the franchisee is like, how do I get my money back? So it's this tension, right? Of I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. So, but back to the sales and market, the advice would be is, don't go buy a franchise. Go put a business plan together and call Elevate and get a marketing plan or hire for 10 grand. That's a good 3 months draw for a sales guy. Go
Hmm.
give them a 90-day ramp up and say, I'll give you a draw for 3 months and I'll buy a bunch of leads and you'll call on these leads and we'll see if we can make this work. So I
Mm.
think funding the deal, having a marketing and sales plan, no, I think a lot of people at a higher level in my industry like the business is a really good business. It's recurring customers, it's customer funded labor, it's sticky customers. It's all the things you want in a business. It sounds like a software business, right? It's a good
Right.
business, but there's still cleaning happening, which is not sexy or fun. So what happens is when guys, I've seen many people that I've tried to mentor, they're like, "Oh, I just bought this company. I think I overpaid for it. Uh, a friend, mutual friend, reached out and said that you've had some success. Could you help me?" And I'll go meet with them, and I'm like, "Hey, let's go see some of your customers. Let's go clean with some of your employees." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Let's go clean with some of your employees. Let's go start an account with one of your employees, with one of your new contracts, and we'll do that." And they're like, "Why? Why am I out here cleaning?" Like,
Hmm.
dude, we're in the cleaning business.
Right.
People ask me what I do. I'm a janitor.
Head janitor.
Yeah, I'm a janitor. That's what I clean buildings. That's what I do. But people are really weird about the identity of that. And for me, I kind of get it. I was a regional vice president for Goldman Sachs. I've had my doubts, like, what am I doing? And I had friends going, what are you doing? And so it made you think. And then you're like, oh, I'm building a service business. And
Mm-hmm.
part of it is you got to be in the service business. I don't care if it's pressure washing or picking up trash. Like, if you don't know how to do it, it's going to be hard to teach it. And if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how to do it, it's going to be hard to fill in when you do have to go do it. You're not going to gain respect. So there's a lot of people that are that way. They're like they like the model I talked about, but they don't like the cleaning part.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
just started our first account in New York City.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, we got to talk about that after this too.
Yeah, my
So
daughter's involved, and she just landed her first account.
yeah,
But love her to death. She's kind of like me. She's a salesperson. So she won this account. I got on a Zoom. It's a fintech company. We're cleaning it 5 days a week. It's priced really well. And she knows how to hire because she's my recruiter. So that's the idea was I'll teach her how to recruit. Now you can go get contracts. We'll expand in New York City. Well, she goes, well, I'll clean this for now because she goes, I want to start. I told them we could start Monday. I'm like, don't overpromise, Ab. You don't need to start Monday. Like, tell them it takes some time to get hired. We'll start next Friday. And she goes, no, this is New York City. We got to jump on it. So
mm-hmm.
she made me proud because she found the lead and she helped me close the lead. I did most of the closing, but we signed a deal, right? And
Yeah.
now she's got to clean. Well, now her attitude's like, I'm not out here cleaning every night. I'm like, okay, well, welcome to your dad's business.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was the reality.
yeah. And she
Yeah.
goes, well, I'm immediately going to hire somebody. I'm like, good, good. Cleaning for a week is
You're
fine.
supposed to do,
Yeah,
right?
at least you've cleaned. But I
Mm-hmm.
get the feeling when it's 6 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I gotta put a vacuum and a mop in my SUV and go clean a building. That doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great, but it's what we do, and it's what our people are doing every night. We have to respect it.
Right. So, where can people reach out to you? Like, where can people get in touch with you if they wanted to, get some
Um,
from you? Also, you don't have to answer that if you don't want to. So,
yeah, I'm happy to chat with anybody. My email is todd@blinkfs.com, and you can email me. Maybe we can start a text relationship after that. But if you want to email me at todd@blinkfs, my website is www.blinkfacilitysolutions.com. You'll have my contact information is on there. So you can find me at both places. You can put the link on wherever you're going to put this up at. Uh,
yeah.
I'd be happy. I get a lot out of helping other people in this business. I think there's a lot of people that help me too. And and sometimes I find when I'm doing that, I find out I learn new things myself from a
Right.
young buck who's just starting out.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So I'm happy to chat with somebody.
Okay. Awesome. Well, yeah. Thanks here, Anton. Just you say thanks, Todd, and then I'm gonna say the outro stuff.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks, Todd, for joining in.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Yeah, and for those listening, if you are running a commercial cleaning company and you're looking for help with scaling through cold email, cold calling, or SEO, feel free to reach out to us, and we'd love to help. And we will catch you next time on the Commercial Cleaning Growth Show.
Awesome. Let me know when this is edited and up.